Hello, fellow reefers and aquarium keepers. This is a 5-year update on my 125-gallon reef tank. I decided that I would do a little bit of a maintenance type of video just to kind of go through what I do to keep this reef tank. So today I did a partial water change. One of the things that I believe is really essential for a sumpless reef tank is a weekly water change. I do about a 20-25% water change on it every week. And the other thing that I think is really important is to use some type of power head. I use these high-door power heads for current and water movement, and I break the surface with the big power head. Got a lot of surface agitation going on. I think that's really important. And then the smaller power head here, the same brand I use to get the current and going in front of the tank. It's a pretty chaotic current inside of the tank. Which I think is pretty essential. I get a lot of aeration in my tank through 3 different methods. One is the hang on the back skimmer. I've got the old-fashioned Remora Pro skimmer, which of course puts air as it dumps it back into the tank. And I have a Mag 5 pump, which is a pretty big pump. The Danner Mag 5 pushes quite a bit of water for the skimmer. The second thing that aerates it and that I use on this tank is AquaClear 110 hang on the back filter. And I just use like poly filter in there just to scrub the water. I don't have anything else in there except for a piece of live rock that I keep on top of the poly filter to keep it from floating up. And then the third thing that adds aeration to the tank is a CPR hang on the back refugium. I got the refugium that's 3.5 gallons. Right now I just have some live sand and live rock in there. You can see I got GFO there in bags that I use. I use GFO. I change that out once a month. Got some fighting conches and some Nassera snails in there. I ordered some copepods. They're supposed to be here tomorrow. I'm hoping to get my copepod population back because see this purple looking stuff there? That's some of that putty that you get to mold rocks or to hold rocks together and stuff like that. Well, I used kalkwasser paste on the blue clove polyps that were in my tank and were starting to try to take over. And then I got rid of most of the blue clove polyps using that, but I had to use this putty stuff to get some of the ones that were down into the rock, and I couldn't kill them with the kalkwasser paste. The bad part about using that putty is it was some brand that I've never used before and never heard of. Anyway, I bought it and I used it in the tank, and my copepods disappeared around the same time that I put it in the tank. Like within a week they were gone, all of them. The amphipods are still alive, but the copepods just didn't make it. So there was something in that putty, I think, because that's the only thing that changed in my entire tank. Anyway, that gives me circulation. I don't get air through the top because I have glass tops on my tank. I always have, and then I just set my lights on top of the glass tops there, and I don't get very much evaporation because I have the tank covered, but I have to clean off the glass tops at least once a month. I also vacuum the sand bed now. I use this special grade sand. It was supposed to be a live sand, and I put that in there a while back, and I've been vacuuming it. So another thing that I do to maintain this tank is I clean the skimmers and the power heads about every 2 to 3 months, and I clean the filters about the same time frame. Pretty good at keeping up with the maintenance on those and clean them out pretty regularly, keep them going well. These power heads that I have in here, they're 5 years old. They work great. This heater that I have in the back is a Eheim heater. Eheim. It's also 5 years old. I've got spare parts for everything in the tank as far as heaters and pumps and stuff, so in case something happens and when they break or whatever. But so far I haven't had to use any of my spares, so they're just sitting in boxes up in the closet waiting to use them. So the other thing that I do to maintain this tank is I dose with the 2-part Seachem doser, and I use the J-Bow doser. You can't see it too well because it's dark underneath the tank there. I use a 2-part solution. I just use the first 2 chambers here. I use that Seachem Reef Fusion, they call it, 2-part, and I dose with that. So at 5 years, the tank is doing really well. I think one of the reasons why it's doing so well is because of the water changes, and because I keep really close tabs on the salinity and the parameters of the tank. So I have some frog spawn, as you can see, neon green Nepthia, clot of Firsteria, I can't remember how to pronounce the name of this one here, encrusting coral, and some blue mushrooms, Pocillopora type of coral. This one here is really big. Call it cauliflower coral, and this one here is about the size of a cauliflower head, and it really does kind of look like cauliflower. And of course the orange Montipora, have to keep cutting it back, it grows so fast. I got a little urchin, little tuxedo urchin, that's the baby one. I have 3 tuxedo urchins. I got 2 big ones and the baby in the tank. And some zoanthids, I can't remember what these ones are called. My clownfish. I've been hosting this zoanthid here for a long time now. That's their home. They really like it. I don't see them going anywhere else because they've just been there for, I don't know, a couple of years or whatever, at least, if not longer. Some more neon green Nepthia. Got my starry blenny there sitting on top of some war coral. The war coral is getting really big. It's grown over the whole rock. It's the size of a small dinner plate. in that one. And then this war coral, same thing. It's covering the entire rock almost. Just a little bit left on the bottom there till it covers that. And I got some orange zoanthids here. And some in the back. And there's one of the large tuxedo urchins there. Try to get it in focus. There it is. There's a couple fighting conches there. Those are pretty new additions to the tank. I got 3 big fighting conches in the main display and this small fighting conch in the refugium. There's a little feather duster. I've had that for many years. And there's one of my marbled serpent stars. This feather duster here, the fish have been trying to eat it. It used to be big, like the size of my hand. Now it's really small. The fish won't leave it alone. They left it alone for over 4 years, and then all of a sudden, just recently, they started trying to eat it. I don't know why they found out it tastes good, I guess. I don't know. So here's my large red brittle star. Had that thing for a long time. And these brittle stars here are like almost 5 years old. These are what they call the paddle tip brittle stars. Got 2 of those. Like I said, they're really old. And I got Royal Grandma. A couple of those scarlet shrimps in there. I don't know where the other one is, but they usually hang out together. And I got about 10 of those, what they call Halloween hermit crabs. The ones with the orange legs. I don't see any right off the bat, but they're in there. Yellowtail blue damsel. When I had a pair of them in the tank, they were terrors, but I took out the most aggressive one, and this one here is fine. It doesn't mess with the other fish very much or anything, and it lives on the left side of the tank. The Royal Grandma lives on the right side of the tank. They pretty much got their territory staked out. They don't like each other. And my magnificent foxface is in the back. Likes to hide when I'm taking pictures. It's pretty camera shy. It's my blue tang, not so much. Had that for quite a while too. Matter of fact, most of the fish are like 4 years old and going on 5 years old. So the Hawaiian flame wrasses pair, my favorite fish right now. I was going to put some yellow tangs in my tank, but if you haven't heard, Hawaii's recently banned the export of fish for the aquarium trade again. So the Hawaiian fishes are starting to disappear, and the ones that are left, they're charging a lot of money for them. On liveaquaria.com, they wanted $450 for a yellow tang. I remember when I first started out in the hobby, you can get them for $20. And even up till recently, they were still, you know, 50, 60 bucks or whatever. And these flame wrasses, the males were like $500, and the females were, you know, $169 or whatever. I don't know how much they're going to cost now, because, like I said, you can't get them anymore, and the main place you get them from is Hawaii. So hopefully they'll live for a long, long time. Anyway, I just wanted to give you guys an update on my tank, show you how it looks, and talk a little bit about the maintenance and stuff like that. I hope you guys are doing well. Until next time.